entrepreneurs gather and teaching and learning from each other. So we're excited that you're here and excited to have 1 Million Cups in Madisonville, Hopkins County, Kentucky. With that, I'm not going to take any more of this guy's time. He's bigger than I am. This is Tony Smith. I imagine he knows everybody in here, and you know him, and I'm not going to take any more of his time. Appreciate you being here and presenting, Tony.
Thanks. I hope you all don't mind if I refer to my notes. I can't remember anything anymore. Anyway, I am Tony Smith. I am not a businessman. I'm not an entrepreneur. I'm an entrepreneur. And the reason I say that is because I had no college. I didn't inherit anything. I didn't have any money, but I've been able to bullshit my way to get some money all my life. I started in the business. I always wanted to. You know, we watch these old black and white movies, and the businessman was so busy, and he's grabbing his phone, he had him crossed up, and secretaries. And my mom loved it, and I thought, man, I want to please my mom. So in my mid and late 30s, I started some businesses, and I'd like to show it to you and give you some illustrations. And if you don't mind, start this around the room, let everybody have it, and bring it back to me at the end, and just shake that every now. And just shake it and hand it around. Everybody grab it and see what it is. When I was in my early 30s, there was a need for entertainment. And Madisonville wasn't wet, so all the bars were wide open until about 3 in the morning. And dancing was real popular, so I created a DJ business. And I piecemealed it, and I bought an old van, I put it together, and I decided it needed to be the best DJ business around, and we would go anywhere. My wife and I at the time, that month. And so we did that, and she was a very talented hairstylist. So I decided she needed a salon, and so I created a salon. She did this, and I designed it, and I created the PR, and we went from there. She became very successful in the salon. She was very successful. Well, that got going pretty good, and I decided I needed to do something. I was still working for the Postal Service. And so I opened a liquor store in Madisonville that had just gone wet, and I was real involved in the CFAX, which is Citizens for Alcohol Controlled Sales, and to get Madisonville to go wet. There's some of you that were real involved in that here too, and you've been good customers. Thank you all. I got to believing in my own success so much, and I'd gotten into exercise. At one time I was a bodybuilder, you can't tell it now. But I opened a GNC. I brought the General Nutrition Center to town. I felt there was a need, there was a void, there was a niche, and so I brought it to town as a franchisee. And the lesson learned is never believe everything a franchisor tells you, because they're going to lie every time. So you really have to do your diligent research. I eventually sold it back to the corporation after losing tons of money. And then I opened the second liquor store. And so that was really good for us. We got a really good deal. I worked it out better than most people can imagine. It's a whole other story. So at the same time I was getting out of the GNC, I wanted to list this liquor store. Well, I was in the liquor business 22 or 23 years. And I can't stand doing anything more than 5 years. I just can't stand it. I mean, I've had so many jobs and so much to do that for years I was looking to sell it. And I waited till the wrong time, but I did sell it. So the people that own it now, they're good people. I enjoy them very much, and I enjoy helping them. But I did sell it, and so what to do? And so I decided to put my money into real estate and houses. So now what I do is I flip houses, where I buy commercial real estate, speculating on it that it might be worth something. So far, I've been dead wrong every damn time. But that's what I have done in my life, and I guess you could call it a career, but I don't really think that it is. Through all these ventures, I guess you could call them ventures, the number one thing that was important was networking. And if you're going to have a small business in a small town, that's the essence of everything. And so I used community involvement with CFAX and various charities and things to be involved in the community and to meet people. The first two beer gardens we had downtown, of course, I had to run those. And I found out my helpers really like beer more than anybody. But that was, and I tried to make an impression. This has been my work clothes for 25 years. This is as good as it gets. And so I wrote to Arlie, 2 meetings, and so that made an impression with my long hair and beard, and people got to know me. If they didn't know me, they wanted to know me. Who in the hell is that guy? And I remember Governor Patton saying, whispering to somebody, who is this guy? And he didn't forget me because of my long hair. But networking, if you do it well, and it's not hard to do, just be yourself, be some personality. A lot of times you'll sell your goods and service to a person with they never hear your advertising. Or Brian might say, man, that guy over there, he's all right. And to somebody, Tanya go, well, who is that guy? And then they'll ask about the services being provided. And that's how we grew the hair salon. That's how I've grown everything. Is my time up yet? Great. Anyway, it was fun. Good to see you. Questions? And make them real simple. God Almighty, please.
What'd you consider that you didn't do?
Work hard enough. Serious. Be more diligent. Work hard. I mean, that's what it comes down to. As I told you, I get bored in 5 years, so 23 years in the liquor business. I get bored for the last 7 years, except for orders and PR.
Was there any kind of other venture that looked fun that you thought about doing that you?
Yeah, but they weren't legal. And they still look good. Yeah, there's something I'm looking at right now, and I've been looking at it now for too long, and I really need to do due diligence and sit down. I mean, I've done demographic studies. I don't know it'll work here. I know we're working on it, but I don't know that with the population of 20,000 work. What else?
I know, because every now and then I would drop in your business to work, like most everybody else, but I know that whenever I would go in there, Tony, you have really good employees in your liquor stores. Tell me how you manage that.
I just fired the ones that weren't. And I wish I'd have been really looking back a whole lot more strict on them, getting a whole lot more productivity. I would never make that mistake again. If I hire again, it won't be, hey Tony, it'll be Mr. Smith, right? But I wanted personable employees. It's not rocket science to go scan something and put it in the back. But it is, liquor's like handling down dynamite. So if you do the wrong thing, somebody in staff's going to jail, I might go to jail. So they had to have some intelligence, and I love personable people. I like characters. I'm one, so I'm drawn to those type of people.
Well, and you said that in a funny way about I fired the ones that weren't.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, everybody hears to take your time hiring, but fire quickly. And
Yeah.
I think that's a mistake that gets made by a lot of small business people, because it's like, I finally found somebody, and then once you get them, it's so hard to just turn around and let them go.
Yeah, it is, and because, you feel, I have compassion toward people, and I know if they didn't need a job, it wouldn't be there. But on the other hand, if they just don't fit in, if they're not, because my business, my employees were personality. It was because we good service wherever we went. And if they were outside sitting on the curb, talking on their phone, smoking a cigarette half a day, you know, doing things like that, I see they didn't fit in, they had to go. And there was times we were pretty lenient because we couldn't find anybody. I mean, anybody. I'd go through the applications and I'd go to the courthouse and run them through the system, and half of them I throw away that day. You know, they won't work, they've been in jail for too many things. I don't mind people who've been in jail, I've been in jail. It just depends on what they've been in jail for. Dang it.
Sonny, what would you consider to be your biggest single challenge as you rolled out perhaps more different businesses here in town than anybody else I know?
Besides you,
Now,
I don't. The challenge is finding it's a niche. As I look around right now, thinking about investing in something, bringing it here, you know, again, demographics play a big part of that. The challenge is not giving great service, because you either do or you don't. And if you don't, then you're failing. And I've also learned in the hair salon business, when we started that up, man, we were just kids. And we hired people as just kids. And I did a study, and there was 1.5 customers per hairstylist per day in the county. And so when I sat the girls down, I said, can you get by with 1.5 customers? Well, no. So we're going to do things, we're going to, you know, they were all beautiful anyway. We're going to dress similar. When you go out, I'm going to send you to Applebee's or here. I'm going to pay for the meal. I want you to all look good. I want you to have a discount card in your hand. Every tip, every locally paid bill is in the envelope. It really, I told them that, you know, it's not as important as it is to be the best as it is to give the perception that you are the best. And so we did that with this young staff. We did it very well. All the businesses I've opened, well, the DJ business went up in the fire and strip joint manager. And that's the truth. That's the truth. I sold it and went up in fire. But Blades, one of the first girls we hired owns Blades now. The GNC is still open and the liquor stores are still open. So I'm proud of that these are sustaining and going on and going people in the town, whether I'm doing it or not.
Well, another question, because, I mean, your marketing skills obviously are very good and have been since then. Where did you come by those skills?
I have no idea. I really don't. When I thought about networking, I was really reaching out to the well-heeled in one level of networking. On the other level of networking, my advertising, Beavis and Butthead was just so popular, you know, and so I did my commercials for the liquor store with I had a DJ who could do both voices. And so it reached out to young people. Hey man, I heard that Beavis and Butthead, that's really good. Give me a 12-pack beer. You know, that was really good. And with the salon, was different. At the time, the upper tier channels, there was like 6. And I could work with the guy at the cable company, Jerry something, who was a great guy. And he would work hours with me. We created these really cool commercials. It didn't show a stylist. It panned the salon. And it had, at the time, you could steal music and still play it over there. So we played really hip music, like Vogue and the Hollies, Long Cool Woman. And that's all they heard was the guitar part or the part of those songs that I wanted. So it created a buzz before it ever opened. Can we sit down?
you're good.
Okay. Anything else? I heard something about it.
That was me.
Always. I know this guy.
Yeah, I know.
He's one of my biggest customers. Yes, sir.
And likewise.
And the hair salon or what?
Well, absolutely. Yes, sir.
John Siebel was here not too long ago talking about how when he drives through towns, somehow his brain just thinks about, would that work here, would that work here, would that work
Yeah,
here?
I do that all.
Is that how your brain works?
Yeah, when I go out of town, obviously there's stuff that just will not work here. You know, there's just not demographics for it. So I look at a town, if I happen to be in one, 30, 40,000, 50,000, 60,000 people. And then I'll drive, and I'm driving around and I see something that's not here. And I think maybe it'll work. And that's one of the reasons I wanted people to come that are dreamers and future entrepreneurs, because I wanted to hear their ideas if they're building that steel.
So what's the first thing that you do as you get an idea? Because I understand that kind of thought pattern. Some people just go, they want to go to the mall and eat. People like you and John, you go and it's probably like a game. Okay, this might work, that might work. There's a 70% chance of that. What do you do when you get back and there's one that just is eating at your brain? What's your next step?
I even think about, first of all, I think, can I create that on and what would that take? How many employees? Do I want that? You know, human cost is your biggest cost. So I want something with few employees as possible. But the other thing is, if it's a great franchise and it's new, it's less than 50 stores, then you can look at that. You can look at that because they're going to kiss your butt to get you started. They're going to do whatever it takes to get you started. If they, as I learned through the GNC, they got 3,000 stores, they couldn't give a damn as long as you pay them everything. So I just look for something that's not being done. And would it appeal to you? Would it appeal to people? Do they want to come in there? Because I've always thought that my business was everybody. I wanted everybody to go to my salon or the GNC or the liquor stores. I wanted them all. And I never wanted to target a business that limited a thing. I wanted everybody, except for kids. I didn't want them at the liquor store.
Wow.
Well, not for a while.
You wanted ready to be in the liquor store.
That's right. That's right.
Kind of a follow-up question is, when you're thinking about these various businesses, a lot of entrepreneurs are told, no, you can't do that. No, you can't do that. That won't work. That won't work. And I've heard this time and time again. How much stock do you put in that when you're thinking about your various things?
It depends on where it's coming from. You know, it just depends. If you're going to, regardless of what the competition is, if you'll do it better and in a more affable way with your customers, with more respect and just look better, do it better, you can smoke the competition by doing that. But you're going to have to advertise, you're going to have to become a personality, you're going to have to be out in the community, you're going to have to work it. You're going to work it from the time you get up to the time the bar closes. And that's how I did it. And we all went to, again, to give the story, the hair salon, 1.5 customers per stylist per day. It was a dominant salon in town at that time. They insulted my wife. They said, came by and one said, what you do that old little beauty shop? Was really nasty to my wife, and so I decided to just put my business. And we damn near did. They quit and left town. The same thing, a liquor store came to town, and out of town guys, and they said, hey man, do you care if we come by your store and get an idea of prices? And I said, no, I don't care. So they came in that evening with 10 people and took pictures and recording and everything else. Well, my staff had already told them somebody had been here. They didn't know. They didn't object. So this person went back to their store and underpriced me on everything. And their big niche was craft beer. And when I heard about that, I told my manager, I said, take it. He said, what do you mean? I said, take the business. Take it away from them. Kill it. And so we never had that kind of craft beer. We probably spent $25,000 in the next 2 weeks on craft beer and underpricing them everything. Consequently, that's not a place I buy craft beers. It's already old now. Is that it? No time? Something keeps dinging.
We still got time.
Hope to get off the hot seat.
Aaron will let you know when we've worn you out.
Thanks. What else? Anybody got anything else? Or I explain the whole world for you?
Are you from here?
Yes.
What was when you were a kid, growing up or in school or whatever, what businesses struck you? What do you remember, like, what were the good businesses that you went into?
I just remember things my mom said, you know, that, I mean, really, it took a hold of me that she admired and respected businessmen. You know, she worked for Dr. Coram, who was and I can remember us riding around the car and my mom going, Walter, we need to buy that lot, that'll be worth something, something. And those type things. And so it kind of, I guess it was already ingrained in me, you know, really. And it was the respect, I think, that business people get that was attractive to me. I've been a coal miner. Man, I've had more jobs than late day shifts. I've been a coal miner, a factory worker, a mailman. I mean, there's not much you can name around here. I wasn't. And those were great jobs. I mean, I was blessed, but I didn't want them. I wanted to do my own thing.
Tell me now that you said you are in real estate.
Kind of.
Kind of. But most of your other things that you've invested in have been in retail.
Mm-hmm. Retail and service.
And so, and I think I'm hearing right, but anyway, but the number one thing in retail is what?
Service. Once they come in the door, service has got such a value. You know, once they hit the door, I always tell my customers, my employees, if they come here 3 times, that's your customer to lose. So you've already got them. And so the only way you're going to lose them is just mistreatment. You know, and if I had people in line, I would go, you know, and speak to the people in the back line. We'll be right with you. Be right with you. Appreciate your patience while working up and down the line. At our drive-through service, I told my employees, if there's 3 cars in that line, somebody better be out the door waiting on the second and third one while the first one's at the window. And so the line would just go bang, 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 because people don't come to the drive-through, they want to spend all that. I hate drive-through windows in liquor stores. I do. It probably costs us in sales, upsales, an incredible amount in add-on sales, because, you know, they came for a 6-pack of Bush, and left with a 6-pack of Bush, and they didn't see that Maker's Mark was on sale. And I hate the liquor store.
I had customers ask me about a drive-through window, and I'm like, no way.
You don't want that, but I had to do it. I mean, food business has got to have it, liquor business has got to have it. I mean, it helps upsell 35%.
That'd be so funny.
Anything, anybody? Yes, ma'am.
What made you decide to the second location? Because it took a while before you did that.
I was arrogant. We had Muhlenberg County beating my doors down. And so, then it was awesome. I didn't even try to compete with the local guys anymore. I had it made. And when Central City went wet, $500,000 annual sales left, just like turning off a light. Damn. Well, what do we do now? And we were losing money. And my CPA said, I mean, you got to do something. And so first thing we did is up prices. We had to. I let a couple of people go. The store out here became an opportunity because it went to foreclosure. That's a convoluted story, but I got it, and it didn't cost me as much as people think it should, and it didn't. But we opened that quickly, and to recover those sales, it cost me more because now I have staff at both places. But I needed those sales to stay afloat. You know, I've never gotten rich, and I never will be rich. I party too hard, I still do. I've got some really bad habits, but you know, I've had a lot of fun. I've had a lot of fun. We done?